What if I told you selling your home could be 100% tax-free? No matter how big the profit, no more capital gains tax. Well, that's exactly what a new bill in Congress would do, and honestly, I think it's about time. So today, I'm gonna explain why getting rid of the capital gain tax on home sales isn't just good for homeowners, it's good for the entire economy. And don't forget to stick around to the end because I'll also break down the biggest arguments that people have against this and why I think they're wrong. What's going on, wise investors? Welcome back to the channel. As always, Matty A. Right now, if you're going to sell your primary home, you get a $250,000 tax exemption if you're single, or $500,000 tax exemption if you're married. But anything over that, you're going to pay capital gains tax, usually 15 or 20%. And those limits, well, guess what? They haven't changed since 1997, which is kind of wild to think about. Not adjusted for inflation. So the government just quietly takes a bigger bite as home prices rise, which obviously we know in the post-COVID era what has gone on with home values. So the government is getting all the benefits while we are still paying the piper. That's hitting more and more normal people, not just the ultra wealthy. This is relatable to anyone and everyone that owns a home or is thinking about buying and getting into home ownership. So if you think about it from this perspective, you buy a house for $200,000 and 2 decades later, you sell it for $1 million. We've seen that happen in the Bay Area and many parts of the country where home valuations have skyrocketed. Well, that is an $800,000 gain. So let's just assume that you're a married couple. You're going to get taxed on $300,000 of gain. Now, the new big proposal is no tax on Home Sales Act. And this is being pushed by Marjorie Taylor Greene. No matter how you feel about her, she does come up with some good proposals that I think as an investor benefit me, benefit certain industries, and of course benefit the overall citizens of America. And she just dropped a bill to completely eliminate the federal capital gains tax on primary home sales. So if you sell your main home, you keep 100% of the profit no matter how much it is. And before you say, well, what about flippers? This is only for primary residences. No speculators or Airbnb empires are sneaking into this bill, unfortunately. It's a simple idea. If you worked hard, paid your mortgage, built equity, you shouldn't get penalized with a giant tax bill when you decide to move or sell. So thinking about it from this perspective of let the American people keep what they've earned by going and doing what the government has incentivized so many people to do over so many decades, which is to get into this American dream, which includes home ownership, and they do so just to be able to tax them at a significant rate for making that investment, taking on those risks, and financially stewarding their investment to get that benefit and upside just to have it taxed is something that I think is completely criminal. So how do we incentivize sales and inventory? Well, I believe that this proposal does just that. And I think that this is actually a great idea. It finally removes the so-called Stayput penalty, which oftentimes when people are running a math equation and they look at how much they're going to have to pay back to the government, they go, well, why would I do that? I'll just stay put, right? Which creates other challenges. Right now, older homeowners are trapped, which we know many baby boomers and Gen Xers who own homes have decided, I'm just going to stay put because I've got a lot of my wealth baked into my home, and I don't want to see a good chunk of that go back to the government. They don't want to sell and pay a massive tax, so they stay put in oversized homes that they don't need, and the result is there's not enough homes on the market, which we're seeing right now. Challenges in supply. Families needing more space can't find anything, right? The overall supply in which people can choose from is extremely restricted. And eliminating this tax means more people are going to list their homes. We're going to see more inventory hit the market. People are going to have more options. And hopefully we'll see more reasonable prices for buyers, which is going to alleviate many of the affordability issues that we're seeing right now in the real estate industry. More inventory equals less pressure on prices. So let's talk about who actually spends money better. You or the government? Well, when you keep more of your home equity in your pocket, you're not stashing it in a vault, right? You're going to go and buy another home. You're going to renovate your house, which is going to, supply contractors and stimulate the local economy. And you're going to pay movers, and you're going to take some of those investment dollars and you're going to shop at stores that are going to benefit from this type of policy. That's money circulating in your community, hiring people, growing and supporting local and small businesses, overall stimulating the economy. Now, the alternative is you hand it to the government. And we know that they've done a really good job at balancing our budget and spending our tax dollars where we see the benefits from it, right? No. If you hand it over to the government, and if you've looked at how they spent our hard-earned tax dollars, especially over the course of, let's just say, the last decade, it's not always the most efficient, nor is it aligned with you, the citizen, the taxpayer. So if you were to save in $500,000, right, that may be taxed at 20%, or you have a gain of $500,000 that is taxed at 20%, that's $100,000 less for you. Or that's $100,000 more that you can infuse back into the local economy, into investments, into your family. In my opinion, it's an overall net positive if we keep more money in homeowners' pockets. Here's another big benefit: economic mobility. You shouldn't have to stay in one place just because selling means paying a giant tax bill. Freeing up this equity means people can move for new jobs, they can downsize in retirement, or they can move closer to their family, right? They can go from a blue state to a red state if they please. Giving people this freedom and flexibility is going to be an overall net positive for citizens. It's good for families, it's good for communities, it's good for the economy. Labor mobility has real value, and right now our tax code punishes it and kind of forces you to stay put. And this isn't, just theory. This is how the economy works. When you sell tax-free, you have more money to spend or invest. It's as simple as that. And that means hiring contractors, buying cars, starting businesses, right? Incentivizing entrepreneurship, innovation, investment. It's money that keeps moving instead of going to DC and getting lost in some black hole of spending. Because we all know the government's so great at budgeting and using our tax dollars to benefit us as the citizens. So again, tax savings equals more money getting invested into the local economy, which leads to more economic growth, which leads to an overall net benefit for everybody in that local economy, region, or state. But let's talk about the critics for a second, because I always like to acknowledge that, one, my viewpoint isn't the only viewpoint. It's not the right viewpoint, as always. And I like to learn and be a student of the game to see where are my blind spots here. Now, obviously, not everyone loves this idea. Critics say that it's a giveaway to the wealthy, that most normal homeowners already stay under the current limits, which is true to a point. But guess what? Those limits are from 1997. They don't reflect today's real estate reality, the current climate, the challenges that we all know are evident and real and apparent right now. Even middle-class homeowners in places like California, New York, Washington, Oregon, really a lot of blue states, they are getting slammed. And sure, high-end sellers are going to benefit from this. And that's just part of the process and the game that we have to be okay with if we're going to change this set of rules for everybody. But they're still going to spend that money. It doesn't just disappear. It funds economic activity and is going to go to places that other people and other, businesses and citizens are going to benefit from. So more money in the economy, in my opinion, is better than more money in DC. I'll just leave it at that. Some will say, but what about lost tax revenue? Oh, well, yeah, the government will take in less from home sales. That is true, but ask yourself, would you rather that money stay with you, the person who built that equity, the person who took those risks, the person who made all those mortgage payments for the life that you were stressing and working your butt off to maintain and keep that shelter? Or would you rather go to the government that wastes billions of dollars on pet projects, foreign aid with no accountability, and bureaucratic overhead? Now, call me crazy, but I'm going to bet on American families spending it smarter than the American government. So here's my stance. This should pass 100%, no questions asked. This isn't like abolishing property taxes in another video I created. It's time to modernize the tax code to reflect reality. Prices have exploded. Families shouldn't be punished for that. It's pro-home ownership. It's pro-mobility. It's pro-economic freedom. And at the end of the day, we need to be honest with ourselves. It puts power back where it belongs, which is in the hands of the American people who earned it. Your home, your equity, your money, not the government's. So, what do you think? Should we kill capital gains tax on home sales? Or do you think we need those taxes to fund the government and that there's something being missed in this overall equation? I'm curious on your thoughts. Drop me a comment down below. I want to hear your take. Let's get some dialogue going around this topic and see if we can get some positive momentum behind this policy and get it pushed to the president's desk to get signed into law. Hopefully you got some value from this. If you did, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe for more breakdowns on real estate investing and economic policy to help you build wealth through real estate. As always, check out all the great resources and tools that we have down below. We'll see you in the next video.